All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Gridiron here on House Call Sports. We are covering Week 8 football action and reviewing one of the more exciting Thursday Night Football games in a long time between the fully healthy Rams and now the 5-2 drop 2 in a row Sam Darnold led Vikings. All that and more coming up to you on the Gridiron. Welcome back to the Gridiron. Want to shout out our sponsor, Vivid Seats, right below me. If you were in full swing basketball season, NHL season, college football season, we're having a great college football season. Don't know if you're tuning in on Fridays and Saturdays. Top 25 is in shambles, especially after last week, Texas losing. And NHL's gearing up, NBA's gearing up, Celtics looking like the real deal right off the rip, and the Knicks are not, unfortunately. You can find all these sports, concerts, any live event for the best bang for your buck. Taxes and fees at the minimum. Nowhere else you're going to beat it. Right at Vivid Seats. Click the link. And thank you again for sponsoring, as always. So, I actually enjoyed watching a Thursday night football game, which is few and far between nowadays. Over the last 2 years, they've been atrocious. And I don't know if the Rams being more, healthier, because it's still not at full health, or I don't know if the Vikings just underperformed. And we all know what happened at the end of the game. We'll touch on that too, which was atrocious as well. I don't think it would have really affected the end of the game, but you can never really tell. So I'm going to throw it to Rob first and let you take away the penalty or non-call penalty, because it didn't happen. And what do you feel would have shaken up the game? What do you think the Minnesota and the toughest division in football, the NFC North, where do you think they end up now? And can the Rams in a mediocre NFC West start to gain some traction, maybe make some playoff noise?
Look, I will say this right now. Sean McVay is one of the three best coaches in the NFL because he just makes shit and makes lemonade out of it. I just cannot wrap my head around it. He could be missing Cooper Cup, not missing Cooper Cup, missing Puka Nacua, not missing Puka Nacua. Have Atwell is the other receiver, right? You have him who basically who knows where he was even drafted, and just win games. Like this guy just makes something out of nothing. As far as the Vikings go, I mean, this is not the first time they've ever been 5-0. And it just seems to be like a reoccurrence, though, because last time they were 5-0 was, I believe, 2016 with Sam Bradford. They started off 5-0. Don't quote me on this. It was either Sam Bradford or whatever other quarterback. But they started off 5-0, and they wind up missing the playoffs.
I think they also started 5-0 in 2021 with Kirk, and then got fraud checked by the Eagles by 35.
Well, it seems like it's an irrelevant fact that this just continues to happen with them. They peak too high, peak too soon, and we've always seen this with coaches like Bill Belichick. They've been adamant about this. Your best football is not played in September or October. Your best football is played around Thanksgiving time. That's when you get to find out really what your team is. And the Vikings, I'm not going to say they're a fraud check or whatever it may be, but you can't win many games where you have 9 penalties and your rushing attack doesn't muster up more than 60 yards. I don't see how many games you're going to win where you can't have a balanced attack. And I like Sam Darnold. He really was efficient this game, but he's still Sam Darnold at the end of the day. And if you really put it on his back, I don't know how much you're going to really get from that. But when you look at the flip side of it, at least with the Rams, you have Matthew Stafford. 4 touchdowns, 25 for 34. He really was balling out. Now, as far as that egregious face mask penalty, this has just been ongoing this whole damn season, whether it be with the Chiefs and the pass interference, non-pass interference. At this point, I think they're just trying to make sure the Chiefs go undefeated so they can wipe Brady clean out of the NFL record books. But that's just that's for another day. Look, I think you really it just all is determined whether or not your quarterback can elevate the players around him, and I just don't know if Sam Darnold can do that, especially when you're not really running the ball that well. But like I said, on the flip side, Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl winning quarterback now at this point. He's not the Matthew Stafford of the Lions. And when you got a head coach like Sean McVay that can scheme up just about anything with the best of them to go along with Matthew Stafford, whatever the rumors may be about him possibly being on the trade block, which I think we all think that that's probably not going to happen. Cooper Kupp's also been denounced by Sean McVay after the game. I just think this game was just a difference of inches, man. And I don't know if that face mask penalty would have made a difference, but for Christ's sake, number 3 in the ref penalty squad did his best impression of Stevie Wonder this game. Like, this guy just, I don't know. Like, how did you expect his face to turn basically like inside out? I just cannot wrap my mind around it. But as far as the Rams, I predicted before the season started that they were going to win this division. And, I mean, can they still do that? It just really is all dependent on health because you got the coach, you got the quarterback, and now you got the 2 receivers that are finally going to be actually playing more time together. As far as the Vikings go, I don't know, man. Like, at the end of the day, they dropped 2 in a row. It's gonna it's gonna be on Sam Darnold's shoulder now that they know that, hey, listen, if we could just stop the run game, let's see what he can do in the pass game. And it's very iffy.
Well, I mean, Sam Darnold played a great game. He had 18 for 25, 2 touchdowns, no interception, mistake-free ball, great completion percentage. The running game, 19 carries for 50-something yards. That, I think, is the difference of the coverages you get against the Rams, who aren't a particularly healthy or great defense at this point in time. The defensive line really carries them. And Minnesota's offensive line is usually surefire. Took an injury to their left tackle right before halftime, which I think dealt a huge blow going forward for them, depending on the length and severity of that injury. Because that's one big strength Minnesota's had is they've all played together every single snap for going on 8 weeks up until that point. And Sam Darnold needs that time, needs that protection. That penalty, I do think, alters the course of the game because you just need give him a chance. Like, you have Justin Jefferson.
I mean, it's an automatic first down if they call the face mask.
It's 15 yards, automatic first down. Now it's 1st and 10 from the 20. You have a minute and a half. What can you do? And you have Justin Jefferson. Like, anything is possible. The old fuck it, he down there somewhere is the truest form with him. And you told it when he one hand bobble and still got both feet in.
How the fuck did he make that catch?
And a pass interference holding. And still has the wherewithal to get both feet in bounds. So I don't particularly can't say one way. Yes, they 100% drive because you can't guarantee anything, but it makes it more interesting and does inevitably taint a very competitive game throughout the whole. Kyron Williams, I think, is a huge differentiator for the Rams, especially for Matt Stafford giving play action, freeing up tight ends a lot, and scheming for Puka and Cooper Kupp to get open. And a lot of level scheme was going on. And with Matt Stafford rolling out of the pocket, getting moving, and playing a level scheme, Sean McVay's a mastermind. His offensive line's banged up, so what do? Move the pocket. Give your quarterback out there, scheme your receivers open, and he's the best, if not one of the best at doing it. So I think it's masterclass by him and Kevin O'Connell on both sides of the ball. Made for a very interesting game. Probably will make for a very interesting playoff game. But I think the Rams make it. Vikings are in a very, very tough division. And they're going to have to play
– best division in football right now, right?
They're going to have to play the 4-2 currently 4-2 Bears again. They're going to have to play the 5-2 Packers again. They're going to have to play the 6-1 Lions again. Like, these are just 50-50 balls every time you go into the stadium or have them come into your stadium. And it's hard to guarantee you move forward if you don't win that division, just because how tough every single game is.
Which is
But
why
I
I
think
said that he needs to elevate. He played a good game. Don't get me wrong, but he needs to elevate, and I don't think he elevated the game at all.
you look at Matt Stafford's number, very similar yards for very similar completion percentage. Matt Stafford just threw more, but has 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. It's a game breaker versus a game I'm not gonna lose the game for us. So, Mike, what do you want to weigh in on this? I know we kind of were fleshing out each storyline as we went.
Yeah. Listen, my question is, where would the Vikings be without Justin Jefferson? I mean, he is basically that entire offense right now. He's got 41 receptions for 646 yards for the year. The next closest to him is Jordan Addison with just 14 receptions for 231. I mean, he is basically all of that offense. Sam Darnold, he looked, decent last night. He was a game manager. He made the right plays when he needs to, but he needs to do more if they're going to do what they need to do in that division. Because like you guys alluded to, it is one of the toughest divisions in football right now. But it's nice to see Jefferson healthy. Hopefully he can stay that way for the rest of the year because he's had injury-prone issues, most of his career. So if he can stay healthy, it's interesting to see what the Vikings do. But it was an enjoyable game finally to watch on Thursday Night Football, like you guys said. There were a lot of stinkers over the last few years, so it's nice to see them put a good product out on the field. And I definitely enjoyed it. It sucks that it had to end, with a face mask penalty that was not called. I mean, he basically ripped his head off. Apparently that ref was 3 feet away and couldn't see shit. So that really needs to get fixed. That's happened a lot this year in the NFL, and they got to start being held accountable. But regardless, it was a great game. Stafford looked great. I thought he was making some good reads. He has Puka Nacua back, so that was huge for him, having him and Kupp. He's got his guys back. They look like a formidable team going forward. He only made one mistake. He had that one interception to Byron Murphy right on the sideline at the beginning of the third quarter. So, that's all right. It was just an overthrow. It happens. But Nacua looked good. He looks like he hadn't missed any time. I think he had like 8 or 9 receptions. He looked great. He filled in seamlessly like he hadn't left. Kupp, it looks like he's going to take him some time to get back. He made some crucial plays. He had a nice touchdown. But, I mean, the Rams, they looked a little bit like they did back in the day, so it's a good sign for Stafford and crew. But, I mean, again, it was 2 good teams. The Rams are starting to get, back into rhythm, and they're 3-4 now, so hopefully they can pick it up in the second half. But we'll see. I mean, last night they had the most points they've scored all year and the most points they've had per average at 5.8 yards. So we'll see what the Rams are going to do going forward. For the Vikings, I thought, 5-0, they had a good start. They didn't play a ton of great teams. They got a lot of tough teams going forward. So it's time for Sam Darnold to prove they're for real or not. I think last week against the Lions, they had an easy chance to win that game. Kind of lost it at the end there. So, I'm still on the Vikings bandwagon. I think they're a great team. And I think as long as Justin Jefferson stays healthy, they'll be good going forward.
Yeah, he really is that entire offense, and they still scheme for him on defense, and he's still doing whatever he wants on that field. And it's going to be interesting going forward, especially in that division. Speaking of teams going forward and players going forward and receivers, I think you know where we're going. DeAndre Hopkins traded to the Chiefs for a 5th-round pick. It's crazy. 4 years ago, DeAndre Hopkins was worth a first-round pick going to the Cardinals and was worth all this after being the league's best receiver for 4 years. And now he even said himself, I haven't played meaningful football in a few years. DHop is on the other side of 30 at 33 years old. Still very capable receiver, getting no targets, no love with a Will Levis / Mason Rudolph run Titans offense, which everyone I'm sure would want out of that ordeal. And DHop has now found himself with, Patrick Mahomes. And does that fill a need for him? Does he fill the Rashee Rice void? I don't think so. I think he's a completely different player. And DHop's game is different, especially a 33-year-old DeAndre Hopkins. I will go right back to Mike. Does this really move the needle too much for Kansas City? I don't believe the hype.
Listen, I don't know if it moves it to like what they absolutely need, but it helps. It definitely helps. They got Xavier Worthy now, that speedster. He's having a great year. And DHop, if he's either in 3/4 of what he's been, he's going to help spread the field. So I definitely think it's going to help out Mahomes. And of course, the league lets him get, once again, another great receiver out there when nobody else would take him. It just seems to be what the Chiefs are doing. I know with Juju out for the foreseeable future, it's a good pickup for them. I don't know how these other teams just keep letting it happen. I think Worthy is definitely going to be one of their top receivers going forward, though. He's had a good year so far, and he's got the most speed on the field. So I think this is actually going to help him out the most. We'll see how DHop is. I mean, we haven't seen him play at the level he's played at for years now, so it could be a wash. But Mahomes, I mean, he did kind of resurrect Juju's career, so he could do the same thing for DHop, but we'll see. I'm interested to see how it goes going forward. But they're 6-0 already right now, and they're not even playing good football. So, I mean, this just helps them out. It definitely makes them better. I don't know if it makes them incredible, but it definitely makes them better.
I don't know who this helps more, Patrick Mahomes or Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Mahomes is having an atrocious year by quarterback standards, let alone Patrick Mahomes standards. And I think DHop gives him a lot of options, and it's just going to make Xavier Worthy open, like disgustingly open for these drag routes. So he will be that Rashee Rice kind of role where he's going to get 11 targets, a lot of drag routes, just let him use his speed and get away from you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he needs Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I was just saying, teams are still going to have to put 1.5 people on Travis at the line or have a safety roll down. And then you can't really leave DHop on an island because it's still DeAndre Hopkins. You still can't do that, especially with Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball. It's a recipe for disaster. It's going to be a scheme issue for defensive coordinators now, which last thing you want to see as a Chiefs hater is yet again they have another weapon reloading for Andy Reid to scheme. And Rob, I'm sure you have a great rant to go along with this. And
so I need all the GMs for the NFL. If you just so happen to pass by this video, do me a favor. Just listen for a second. You see a number from Kansas City. Can you turn your fucking brains on for 1 second? And don't trade with them. I mean, the Buffalo Bills did this in the offseason, basically trading. I mean, you've seen Mind Gauge and many of the House Call Sports affiliates that are in this brand, how we reacted when teams just seemingly are dumb as hell. Don't trade with them. Why would you give them something? DHop, I don't think he's going to be the DHop of old, but he'll probably be 3/4 of what he was, and 3/4 of what he was is probably a top 20 receiver. He's going to be better than most receivers. Now, doesn't move the needle where the Mahomes led or Andy Reid led. Let me just say that team, or I should say Spagnuolo led, because they would not be 6-0 without Spagnuolo. Do I think it's going to be where they're just going to go 16-0 or 17-0 now because of the extra game? I don't know. I think they don't finish 17-0. I think they're definitely going to be significantly better. I just don't think they're better than like the Ravens, who finally found their groove, because if they were to verse the same Ravens now that they did week 1, I don't think it would have been an ass whooping. I think this, with the insurgence of Derrick Henry now knowing what his role is with Lamar Jackson, it's really hard to stop. But I don't really care what the Chiefs do on offense. We've seen Mahomes' overrated ass do nothing when he has nobody to throw to. But I know I'm not going to go on a tangent, but this is who we regard to be the next greatest quarterback. But he can't throw to mailman. He can't throw to an aging Travis Kelce. Hey, Patrick Mahomes, Brady did that his whole fucking career. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to go on a tangent on that. As long as you have Spagnuolo as your defensive coordinator in that defense, you have every bit of shot to win it all. Because that defense will keep you in games so much. And what I said about the Chiefs, and I've been saying it, it's not a matter of whether they're going to win the game. It's whether you're going to lose the game. And if that makes any sense to people that have ever watched anything from like the Patriots years, the Patriots didn't do anything to really like win games. They just waited till you made the first mistake. And that's just what happens when teams go against a Andy Reid, Spagnuolo. I'm not going to say Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry. 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Come on. And how is he in the MVP race? But whatever. But when
People
you go
still
against
winning the MVP race, which
they actually have their fucking brains off. How do you get 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, but you're in the running for MVP? That's fucking.
Yeah, he's not.
House Call
Chiefs
Sports.
are a defensive team. That's why you're 6-0.
House Call Sports. By the way, another reason to follow House Call Sports, because we will never go and post bullshit like that just to get clicks. As long as you have Andy Reid and Spagnuolo, you have every chance to win these games. And I just don't know who's going to beat them. I really don't, because looking down the line, there's a lot of it's just whether or not you get a team that finally just looks at the Chiefs and just not scared of them. Because I think that's the biggest thing, is that they look at the Chiefs and they're scared of them. If you can get over that, if you can kind of put together what the Ravens did in the first half in the AFC Championship, you'll win the game. But it's whether or not you make the crucial mistakes to put you behind the 8 ball.
I mean, it's going to be a tough out. And I think at this point, unfortunately, the NFC will once again run through Arrowhead, making it even more painful for teams and viewers.
Hey, Tom Brady, you want to sell the Raiders so you can come out of retirement and whoop this boy one more time?
Yeah, please.
It's going to be layered in controversy, as all Chiefs games are, and it's going to be a nightmare to watch.
I just don't see a quarterback out there right now that, not even, to put it as bluntly as it possibly can, has the cojones to beat him. Because you're not just going to get – I'm sorry, man. Being a Patriots fan, maybe I'm calling the kettle black. But you never heard this many penalties that were just reversed, whatever. You're not only going against the Chiefs, you're going against the refs. So you're going to have to play as clean a fucking game as you possibly can. And I don't know if there's a team out there that
we saw that in week 1 against the Ravens and all the illegal formation penalties. I think that's gotten cleared up because I don't think the Ravens have got called for more than 1 a game since. So I don't know if that was a byproduct of week 1 or a byproduct of you're playing the Chiefs. Because Taylor,
week one only proves so much, because the Patriots won their first game, and since then we.
Anyway, this is a perfect segment. I would want to go around the horn real quick. Do you think there's a team in the AFC that keeps the Chiefs out of the Super Bowl? I'm not saying regular season, because regular season don't matter worth dick. Who stops them from going down to the Big Easy this year and playing the Super Bowl again? Because I have an NFC team that I put right up there, number 1, being the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell, having exactly what Rob is talking about, that attitude to
punch in the mouth,
beat a team like that and outplay Steve Spagnuolo on defense, which is far impossible at this point. But I think that's where my money is, and I don't think it's Kyle Shanahan. Damn sure it's not Kyle Shanahan. But for AFC team, you're hard pressed to not say the Ravens. You can't.
Or the Texans, man.
I would love to say the Texans, but I don't know.
They can get some pressure on them.
Look super iffy last game against the Packers, and they have all the talent in the world. And DeMeco Ryans is a fantastic year 2 coach. I like that duo going for a lot of years. He's players coach, hard-nosed, defensive guy, and has been in an organization for years. And C.J. Stroud's one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. I don't think they're ready to do it. I think Lamar's got the best chance. Having another MVP-type year, has so many weapons around him. John Harbaugh is a proven winner. They just need to get over the Chiefs. It's not going to be Josh Allen and the Bills.
I think what they need to do, and this is, I think the Texans have the defense. I think they have the quarterback to do it. I think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have the experience to do it, even though they haven't really beaten a Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid Chiefs team. I think the biggest thing is this. You need to let Lamar do what Lamar does to get you to that point. We saw in the AFC Championship. Oh, we got to the AFC Championship off of Lamar's legs. Let's make him a pocket passer. That's the shit I'm talking about. Like, stop drifting away from what makes your team successful. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's really all I have to say. It's the Ravens and the Texans with the Lions, man. The biggest thing about them is the reason why I don't think they'll be able to do it. Dan Campbell takes too many chances. And I just think that will be the nail in the coffin because you can't take too many chances. But on the flip side of the coin, sometimes you get the right outcome, but you're just banking on, like, it's really risky. So those three teams, I guess. Lions would probably be my third choice, but I think I'm a little bit more have a little bit more faith in the Texans and the Ravens.
Yeah,
Mike, you got any teams?
Guys, listen. Let's not forget about the Cincinnati Bengals. I know they've had a slow start to the year, but he has the balls. Joe Burrow has the balls to go into Burrowhead and beat him. He's done it.
Yeah, but his defense is dog shit.
I don't think they make the playoffs. So
I don't either.
shit.
But this is how the Bengals have been in the past, and then they turn it on at the end of the year. So I still think that Burrow has a chance to do it.
The problem is you're in a division that's basically got way too many wins on you already, and not way too many wins on you, way too many wins above you. Like the gap is not like it. I mean, what does the AFC North look like right now?
5-2 Pittsburgh Steelers, 6-2 Ravens.
Yeah, so like you're what, 2-4? Like it's
2-4. They got an easy win coming up.
They're gonna have to like be like lights out against the Ravens and the freaking Steelers. And the Steelers have a hell of a defense. And Russell Wilson seemingly turns back the clock. And I'm sorry, with the Ravens, your defense can't stop the run, and you happen to go against Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. No, I don't think the Bengals, if they were in, you just need to get Burrow there. That's all
Yes,
you do.
that's what I mean.
The problem is you're not going to be able to get him there because you're not. There's realistically, it's going to be the Steelers and Ravens division to lose because you're going to have two teams from that division winning, getting in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, the problem is that I say Burrow because nobody else has proven they can do it.
But then I say my rebuttal also to that is Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh versus Zach Taylor.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's different levels there.
Yeah, there's.
So then the Bills. If it's going to be a team that's going to be the Bills, because Josh Allen, he should have beat them that game. They came back at a field goal with 13 seconds left and blew that. So I think the Bills have a big chance.
Any world where the Bills, especially this Bills team, gets it done.
As long as you got Josh Allen, especially with Amari Cooper now.
I just don't have faith that defense isn't what it once was. And I think there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts. But I just hope it's not this. It's just not the Chiefs at this point. Just over it. And
I agree. I'm tired of it. I kind of get how everybody felt watching the Patriots dynasty now. It's annoying when it's not your team. It's the same thing every year. It's the same script every single year. Mahomes will get the calls, or they won't play well at this point, and then they'll turn it on at the end of the year, win a Super Bowl. And it's unreal. The guy should have more Super Bowls than what he has right now. If it wasn't for Brady, he held him back from 2.
Yeah.
So hopefully someone's got the balls to go in there. Hopefully Lamar finally does it in the playoffs because we know how great of a regular season quarterback he is. He's won multiple MVPs.
He's going to win probably back-to-back MVPs if you look at Lamar's numbers right now.
Oh, I agree. He's right now he's leading the MVP race, but he needs to do it in the playoffs or he hasn't proven anything because he's already done this. The one thing he hasn't done is gotten to the game and won it. Getting to the ball and winning it will cement the kind of quarterback and the career that he's going to have going forward.
Speaking of games going forward, give me one game you're looking forward to this Sunday. You think is a must-tune-in game?
Let's see. There's a lot of good ones. Probably say. Wait a second, what the best one is. Let's see. I think Actually, yeah, that'll be a good one. Philly and Cincy. That's a
Yeah,
big game for the Bengals. Big
I
game
think
for the Bengals.
I think it's a must win for both teams. Honestly, Philly's
It is.
underperforming, and the Bengals need it bad.
Yeah,
And they
100%.
bad. Honestly, my one game for the week is the Dolphins Cardinals game, the return of Tua.
Yeah, because they have Tua back.
I need to see, especially from an AFC East standpoint, being a Jets fan, you being a Pats fan, obviously.
Yeah, yep.
Are a little invested to see, is it really all Tua? Is Tua really that important to that offense? Or is the Dolphins just a bad team?
No, it looks like Tua is that offense.
Because if they come back and they blow the Cardinals out, albeit the new Call of Duty did just drop today, so I don't know how Kyler's going to play. If they come back and Tua just drops like 300 yards, Tyreek has 160, 2 touchdowns, Jalen Waddle has 70 and touchdown, and Devon Chain has 60, and like 30 through the air. Then we're looking at the Dolphins like, oh shit. Okay, now there's another AFC team that we're going to have to look at because they could very well rip off 6 wins and now be 8-5, staring down the barrel of the number 7 seed.
Yeah, because nobody's really running away with that division. I mean, the Bills are obviously the best in the division, but now it's one of the worst in football.
They don't look good either. They got the doors blown up by the Ravens and almost lost to a terrible Jets team.
Yeah, no, I agree. They don't. There's no team that's far ahead of anybody. And I think that, I saw Tyreek, his interview a few days ago. He's fired up that Tua's back.
Yeah.
He is fired up. So
that division is, I think, we thought it was going to be one of the best divisions in football because you look, Josh Allen's still there. It's still Josh Allen. Tua and the Dolphins are explosive. They should have won the division last year if they didn't implode. Oh, the Jets, Aaron Rodgers back. Oh, the Patriots first year could be a lot better. And we all suck.
Everybody sucks. Everybody.
And
the Bills just suck the least.
It's terrible to watch, but keeps you invested just a little bit. We suck, but we still could win the division. We're only 2 games out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The Patriots we're still technically there.
Nah, we need the tank. The Pats need the tank, and then just trade up for picks and get an offensive. I already said take every single offensive lineman off the board that you can. Please. Just do it.
I'm also in that boat because I think the Jets are a top 10 pick. Draft another lineman. Let's get it going. Or trade up. Give me some.
It's amazing.
Fuck Quinn Ewers. Give me a Cam Ward, dude. Give me Cam Ward.
Yeah, I like him. Cam Ward's nice. I'm watching all the Miami games this year. He is smooth operator. He is. I mean, that comeback that he had against Cal was ridiculous.
Yeah, and when he was played at Washington, I was living in Washington and caught some of his games. He's been like that. And then obviously I moved to Florida and he plays at the U. So I keep getting more and more of Cam Ward just in my face. I'm like, he's legit. Probably the best quarterback in the nation right now.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
You can make your Quinn Ewers arguments, yes, but with Quinn's injury history and Cam Ward's use of his legs, I'd lead Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is my first quarterback off the board. But
you want him on the Jets?
I would love Cam Ward on the Jets. But I'm also very interested in the Jordan Travis experiment. Very interested in that because he was a Heisman candidate before he broke his leg. I agree with that. I mean, look at that Florida State team now without him, so that just kind of shows how valuable he was. So DJ sucks.
DJ yeah, he does. Yeah, he sucks. He sucks. That's why he's off Clemson. Yeah, it's trash.
It's very telling. But if the Jets had an opportunity to get Cam Ward, I wouldn't be upset if they lost some draft capital to get Cam Ward. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
I do believe that's it for us for this week. You got any? Let's go prediction for your big game, Eagles, Cincy.
I think the Eagles are going to win it. I think Saquon's going to have 3 touchdowns, another huge game, 150 yards rushing.
I mean, it's a big
just because
is awful. So yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He's going to run right through that. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing. And the Eagles seem to start to get their footing a little bit recently. But it is a must-win for Joe Burrow, though. So maybe we'll keep it close. I'd say a final score is probably, let's do 31-28. It's going to be a close game. I think the Eagles are going to win by 3.
And I think Cardinals, Dolphins going into it. I do think Tua returns to like full on Tua slinging the thing, and he's gonna throw for I think over 300. Gonna have 3 touchdowns. Tyreek's gonna have over 120 and a touchdown.
Yep.
And it's gonna be looking back to work as usual with Mike McDaniel. And I don't think, even if the Dolphins defense isn't healthy and doesn't look great, I don't have a lot of faith in Kyler and Call of Duty opening weekend. I know that's a joke, but it's a legit thing if you look at his stats. I do think Marvin Harrison Jr. starts to get more involved in the offense again because he's had a couple of off weeks. And James Conner is going to do James Conner things, especially since run defense in Miami is not great.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 38-21. Big win for the Dolphins.
Woo! Big win for the Dolphins. Okay. All right. Let's see if Tua is the answer. See if he's the reason that they haven't done anything.
Hard pressed to say it's not, because Snoop Huntley won games. He's a bona fide winning starting cornerback as a backup. One of the best backups you could have in the league.
I think, honestly, with the Dolphins, it's just their scheme was too much for him. Because if you watch it, they had so many offensive false starts, and he didn't really know what was going on. I just think it's a very intricate offensive scheme.
Yeah, Mike McDaniels could not tweak his offense to fit around a new quarterback.
Yes, exactly. So I believe this is what they need.
Sorry, Mike.
No, you're good.
He shows up too. I was like, oh, he's done. So thank you all for tuning in. We'll catch you next week. That is Mike. Oh, still the wrong way. That's Mike. Yep. Orientation. And as always, your moderator for this fine Thursday recap, Gage. We will catch you on Spotify, X, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all the other social media platforms, including Threads, and I'm sure I'm forgetting at least 3 because there's so many now. And thank you all for listening. Peace.